The sun pushes the air past 50 degrees. No electricity, no fans, no refrigeration, no air conditioning, and the desert doesn't forgive. Yet behind ancient walls of mud and stone, families lived in rooms cooler than most modern homes today. These civilizations didn't just endure the heat, they defeated it, using nothing but earth, shadow, wind, and water. The first weapon in that fight was hiding in plain sight. A narrow alley in Damascus holds onto the shade long after the sun has scorched the rooftops. Here, the air feels heavy and still, but it is not the suffocating heat of the open desert. The secret lies in the walls, thick as a man's arm, built from mud brick or stone, sometimes layered half a meter deep. Each wall is a silent reservoir, absorbing the sun's fury hour by hour, holding it back like a dam holds water. By the time the heat seeps through, night has already fallen, and the air outside has cooled. This is the power of thermal mass, an 8 to 10 hour lag between the desert's assault and the warmth reaching the inside. Inside these homes, the difference is measured not just in comfort, but in survival. When the outside temperature surges past 45 degrees Celsius, rooms behind these walls can remain 10 to 13 degrees cooler. The science is simple, but the stakes are absolute. Without this buffer, midday would be unbearable and sleep impossible. The streets themselves are part of the defense. Built deliberately narrow, they twist and turn, forming deep urban canyons that shelter families from the relentless sun. High walls cast shadows across the ground, shrinking the hours of direct sunlight to a sliver. In places like Shibam, Yemen, these canyons drop street-level temperatures by as much as 4 degrees compared to the open plain. Whitewash on the outer walls reflects the worst of the solar glare, pushing back against the heat before it can even enter the home. Every surface, every angle, every patch of shade is a calculated move in a daily battle. Imagine a family walking through a shaded alley at noon, the outside world blazing but the passage cool to the touch. Would you last a summer here with no air conditioning, no ice, no relief but what mud, stone, and shadow can provide? Subscribe for more stories of ancient ingenuity and survival. In the Nile Valley, the sun's grip is relentless. Each day, it beats down on the mud brick villages, turning the riverbanks into a furnace. Yet, as dusk settles, Egyptian families climb narrow stairways to their rooftops, escaping the heat trapped below. Here, under a sky streaked with violet and gold, sleep comes easier. The roof is more than a place to rest. It's a survival platform, where the night breeze rolling off the Nile becomes a lifeline. Inside these ancient homes, windows are not just holes in the wall. Carved deep into thick mud brick, each opening is set back, creating a shaded recess that blocks the harshest rays. The walls themselves rise heavy and cool, holding back the day's heat until the last light fades. On the hottest afternoons, families gather in rooms where the only light comes from high, north-facing apertures, angled to catch the gentlest wind, but never the burning sun. These windows face the river, always searching for the promise of a breeze. As the temperature climbs past 40 degrees, the difference inside is unmistakable. The shaded interiors stay bearable, while the world outside shimmers with heat. In the evenings, the whole house breathes. Doors and windows open wide, drawing in the cool air that sweeps across the water. By midnight, the rooftop is alive with quiet voices and the slow rhythm of sleep beneath the stars. At the heart of every ancient desert home lies a courtyard, a shaded oasis carved from stone and earth, where the outside world's heat loses its grip. Here, the air feels different. Sunlight filters through climbing vines and citrus trees, dappling the ground beside a shallow pool or fountain. Water drips and disappears, but not without a fight. Every drop that vanishes into the dry air leaves coolness behind. Studies in Yazd and Damascus show that the temperature inside these courtyards can fall by 4 degrees Celsius compared to the streets beyond. It's not just a comfort, It's survival, a buffer against the day's worst hours. In the afternoon, a family gathers around the fountain. The oldest stories are told here in air that is thick with the scent of wet stone and orange blossoms. Children chase shadows, adults share tea, and the relentless desert sun is kept at bay by a ring of high walls. The courtyard becomes the lung of the house, drawing in air, moistening it, and letting it drift through shaded arcades into every room. Pools and plants do more than soothe the soul. They turn heat into something bearable, even beautiful, but the fight is never finished. In Yazd, the desert wind is both enemy and ally. At the edge of noon, when the city bakes and the air stands still, a silent machine waits atop every roof, the badgir, or windcatcher. These towers, some rising 10 meters above the street, are not decoration. They are lifelines. A master mason, hands roughened by lime and brick, knows the secret. Angle the tower's mouth toward the northwest, where the shamal wind is strongest. As wind sweeps in, it plunges down the vertical shaft, cools as it passes over damp clay, and rushes into the house below. The air inside turns over as much as 12 times each hour. Even when the outside world scorches at 45 degrees, the rooms beneath a badgir can feel 10, sometimes 15 degrees cooler. But the true marvel lies underground. Beneath the city, a labyrinth of kanats, ancient water tunnels, carries cold water from distant mountains. The windcatcher's shaft dips toward the kanat, drawing up air chilled by the earth and water. Here, in the deep basements, the temperature holds steady around 15 degrees Celsius, untouched by the sun's fury. The journey of the wind is a story of survival from sky to tower to tunnel to the heart of the home. Would you trust your life to a tower of mud and a river you cannot see? Pause for a moment and picture yourself in one of these ancient desert homes. The sun is burning outside, pressing against walls as thick as your arm, but inside, it's quiet and cool. The only relief is what mud, stone, and a trickle of water can provide. There's no hum of a fan, no cold air pouring from a machine, no switch to flip when the heat becomes too much. Every comfort comes from centuries of trial and error, from builders who gambled their lives on the thickness of a wall or the angle of a window. Would you last a week here? Could you sleep on a rooftop, trusting the night wind to carry away the day's heat? Could you go a summer with no air conditioning, no ice, no running water, just the slow, patient cool of earth and shadow? Think about it. In a world where survival depended on design, could you endure the desert's test? Let us know in the comments. Stack every element together: thick walls, shaded courtyards, windcatchers, underground water, rooftop platforms, and what emerges is not just a house, but a living machine. Each part feeds the next. The windcatcher draws in air, the courtyard tempers it with shade and water, the walls slow the heat, and the night sky pulls warmth away until morning. In Yazd, scholars have measured the result. A traditional home using nothing but passive design slashes annual cooling energy by 23% compared to a modern building running air conditioning all day. That's not a guess. It's a number confirmed by field sensors and computer models. One expert puts it simply: the house itself is the air conditioner. Even the Yakchal, the ancient Persian ice dome, fits into this loop, storing winter ice, feeding cool air through tunnels, and lowering summer temperatures for months. The entire system works in silent harmony, needing no wires, no fuel, just the physics of earth, water, and wind. Shibam stands in the Yemeni desert, its towers pressed tightly together, rising up to 11 stories from thick, sun-baked brick. The city's narrow streets, just wide enough for two, run deep between these walls, creating vertical canyons where sunlight rarely touches the ground. Here, the city's design is its defense. The high aspect ratio of height to width blocks the harshest rays, trapping cooler air below. Sensors at street level show a drop of 2 to 4 degrees Celsius compared to the open desert outside. Every alley, every shaded patch works as part of a larger system. Shibam is not just a collection of homes, but a community-built shield against the relentless desert heat. Even now, as our cities battle rising temperatures and soaring energy bills, the desert's ancient defenses remain unmatched, proven to cut cooling energy use by over 20%. In a world heating fast, survival may depend on remembering how to outthink the sun. Subscribe for more stories of human ingenuity.